Have you ever stopped to think about the simplest things you use every day? Things you don't give a second thought to, like a paperclip or a post-it note? What if I told you that some of these ordinary objects have had a huge, world-changing impact? In today's video, we're going to dive into 10 everyday objects that secretly change the world in ways you'd never expect. Stick around to find out how something as small as a paperclip helped win a war and how a sticky note sparked a global innovation. Let's get started. First up, the humble paperclip. Invented in 1899 by Norwegian engineer Johan Valler, this tiny piece of bent wire has been holding our papers together for over a century. But during World War II, it became much more than just a stationary tool. Norwegian resistance forces, living under Nazi occupation, used the paperclip as a symbol of unity. Because the Nazis banned any symbols of resistance, Norwegians began wearing paperclips on their clothing as a silent protest in a show of solidarity. This simple object became an emblem of defiance and resilience. The paperclip hasn't changed much in design over the last 120 years, and its role in history proves that even the smallest inventions can make a massive difference. Next, the post-it note. Believe it or not, these sticky notes that we take for granted were actually the result of a failed experiment. In the 1960s, scientists at 3M were trying to develop a super strong adhesive, but they ended up with a weak, reusable one instead. This was considered a failure, until one of the scientists realized that this failure could be perfect for small, temporary notes. And thus, the Post-it was born. Today, Post-it notes are used worldwide for everything from brainstorming sessions at boardrooms to quick reminders on your fridge. They've even become a symbol of creativity, featured in art, movies, and pop culture. Who knew a sticky note could spark innovation? Have you ever thought about Velcro? This everyday fastening material was actually inspired by nature. In 1941, Swiss engineer Georges de Mestral went for a hike with his dog and noticed how burrs clung to his clothes and his dog's fur. Curious, he examined them under a microscope and saw tiny hooks on the burrs that latched onto loops in the fabric. This observation led him to invent Velcro, a combination of the French words for velvet and hook. Velcro's versatility quickly made it a hit, used in everything from fashion to sports equipment. But it truly made history when NASA used it in space. Velcro became essential for keeping things secure in zero gravity. Even today, you'll find Velcro in astronaut suits, securing equipment, and all over the space station. Next, we've got zippers. Invented in 1893, zippers didn't gain widespread popularity until the early 1900s, when they were adopted for military uniforms during World War I. Before zippers, buttons and laces were the go-to method for fastening clothing and gear. But zippers were quicker and more secure. The name zipper itself came from the B.F. Goodrich Company in 1923 when they used it for their rubber boots. Today, zippers are found everywhere, in clothing, bags, tents, and more. They've revolutionized how we fasten and secure things, making life a little more convenient in the process. Ever heard of WD-40? This popular household spray, known for fixing squeaky doors and loosening rusted bolts, has a fascinating origin story. WD-40, which stands for Water Displacement 40th Formula, was developed in 1953 for the aerospace industry. Its main purpose was to prevent rust and corrosion on missiles, but it quickly found its way into homes and garages everywhere. Today, WD-40 is one of the most versatile products around, used for lubricating, cleaning, and even protecting items from moisture. There's even a rumor that NASA used WD-40 during the Apollo space missions. How's that for a small product with a big impact? Now let's talk about something fun. Bubble wrap. Originally, bubble wrap was invented in 1957 as textured wallpaper. Yep, wallpaper. The idea didn't really take off, but its creators quickly realized that the material could be used as packing protection. Today, bubble wrap is essential in the shipping industry, providing a lightweight, cost-effective way to protect fragile items. But it's also become a stress relief tool for millions. People love popping the bubbles for fun, and it's often used in calming, sensory activities. It just goes to show how a failed idea can find new life in unexpected ways. Next up, rubber bands. Patented in 1845 by Stephen Perry, these stretchy loops of rubber have been keeping things together for almost 180 years. But rubber bands became especially important during the rise of industrialization, used to bundle papers, tools, and other items for efficiency. Today, rubber bands are still widely used in offices, homes, and even as part of DIY projects. Fun fact, the largest rubber band ball ever created weighs over 4,000 pounds, and it took nearly 700,000 rubber bands to make. Believe it or not, toothpicks have been around for thousands of years. They are one of the oldest tools in human history, with evidence of toothpick use dating back to ancient civilizations. But in the 19th century, toothpicks became a symbol of social status, especially in the United States. Wealthy individuals would carry fancy, ornate toothpicks as a sign of sophistication. Today, toothpicks are still widely used around the world, not just for dental hygiene, but also in cooking and crafts. Despite their simplicity, toothpicks remain one of the most mass-produced objects on Earth. Next on our list are Q-tips. These cotton swabs were invented in 1923 by Leo Gerstenzang after he saw his wife cleaning their baby's ears with a cotton-wrapped toothpick. He thought there had to be a safer, more hygienic option, and thus the Q-tip was born. Although they're often used to clean ears, doctors recommend against that. However, Q-tips have found plenty of other uses. In makeup application, arts and crafts, and cleaning hard-to-reach places. It's another example of how a small, seemingly simple tool can have a big impact on everyday life. Last but certainly not least, the ballpoint pen. Invented in 1938 by Hungarian journalist Laszlo Biro, the ballpoint pen was a major improvement over fountain pens, which often leaked and required constant refilling. Ballpoint pens use a tiny rotating ball at the tip to dispense ink smoothly and evenly. After World War II, the ballpoint pen quickly became the most popular writing tool in the world. The Bic Cristal pen, introduced in 1950, has sold over 100 billion units. It's hard to imagine life without the ballpoint pen, which has made writing easier and more accessible for people all around the globe. And there you have it, 10 everyday objects that have secretly changed the world. From paper clips and post-it notes to WD-40 and ballpoint pens, these simple inventions have had an outsized impact on our daily lives and the course of history. Which of these objects surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more fascinating insights into the world around us. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.